Hello, all you Courage, Confidence, Connections podcast fans. Welcome back to another episode. My guest today is Jakob Harrold, and we're going to talk about his business. But first of all, we want to get to know who is Jakob. So, welcome and thank you for joining me on the podcast. And we want to have a nice, warm introduction. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, one, thank you so much for having me on and wanting to explore kind of my journey and how I've got to where I am now and where I'm going. Just a little brief history. Born and raised just outside of Portland, Oregon. Spent my whole young adult through COVID era there with close to my friends and family, and decided just about 7 months ago that I'd love to call Bend, Oregon home. It's always been a vacation destination for me in these past 25 years. So to be able to call it home, closer to the mountains, closer to the trails, has always been a goal of mine. So now we are here, and it's been a lovely 7 months getting acclimated to a new community, a new environment, and a whole lot of new opportunities.
I bet. Were you in a little bit of a culture shock when you got to Central Oregon? Because it's very different.
Yes, it is. It is very different, and luckily all the right ways and the ways that I wanted to move here for, especially with that larger sense of community when it comes to one business focus, but also a little bit more achievable to meet more people within, the community within Central Oregon. And that's a lot, it's a difficult thing to do with Portland and the Portland metro area to really find a sense of community and grow and develop with them. So all good acclamations.
That's fantastic. And as you mentioned, community, I know very, you desire to be very community focused, obviously in the business, and we'll talk about that shortly. So tell me a little bit about your where that desire came from to bring people together, to be involved in a community, and to live somewhere where there is more of a community option.
Right. I think it comes from obviously getting a taste of it in my experience from sports and as a young age and having such a dense community around a focus of a certain sport and really loving the camaraderie and the growth that can happen when you have people that are like-minded around you. And then obviously through my early 20s and COVID, realizing the impact of not having a community can have on your self-confidence, on your ideas, on your growth mindset, and really just the contrast between those two made me realize there's so much value that sometimes is intangible behind a community, whether that's for a business or for a hobby or for just a lifestyle. Community is such an important factor. It really has just those hidden and powerful moments that are able to just keep you going and keep you focused and keep you energized to push for greater and bigger things.
I totally agree. And I think during that time of isolation, and if you are someone who's not just outgoing, but loves to be around people and loves to bring people together, which is what I do, is it's very difficult when you're isolated. You can't really get a sense of another person. And most of the people that I know online, I'll probably never meet because they live all over the US and the world. However, this particular venue of virtual networking has changed the game. And I know you're involved in networking and the business side of things. Are you finding that helpful personally and professionally?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It's used as a tool to connect your community further. It is such an empowering um, just development within technology, especially over that time of isolation where, adding it is almost a cherry on top for your networking experience instead of having to solely rely on a virtual connection, being able to really have in person and virtual complement one another to expand your horizons, but also have that close community that you can see in person. Both is just so invaluable to growth and to continuing to learn and have that open kind of growth mindset to new perspectives that you get to hear and listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what type of community activities are you wanting to or are involved in as far as groups, not just business, but what kind of things do you see yourself moving in that direction? And maybe someone will be able to reach out to you that listens to this.
Yes, indeed. On the personal front, one of the biggest reasons why I'm specifically here in Central Oregon is the outdoors. Just like many um, individuals and groups are here for that exact same reason. Specifically, snow sports and trail running are my two favorite, really physical activities that both have amazing communities in the Central Oregon area. And so those two I've been focusing on. I'm trying to get out there, meet the shop owners within Central Oregon that are really, front runners for these hobbies or lifestyles. And so I'd say, yeah, those two, anything outdoors has been really one, the scenery here is immense, but also the people that you come in contact to often have the same perspective on life and growth and challenging yourself. And sticking around those people is always a good thing.
Yeah, it is. What age group would you typically want to be involved with or, hanging out with, that type of thing for your fun activities?
Right. Yeah. I think there's age is merely a number in some ways. I do believe a mindset and maybe the age of your mindset is more important than anything. If you still feel like a kid at heart, that's really what makes empowers me as an individual and makes me want to go further into that realm of being incredibly present and getting just that youthful feel back. So, you know, and
Good,
basically anyone.
good answer.
Yeah.
Because I've written a couple of blogs on age, and I won't disclose mine here. That's just not relevant. But I will say that my whole life that I can remember, I've always thought that. I mean, I haven't specifically thought age is just a number. I mean, I do, but I didn't think about it. I didn't think that at this age I needed to do this, or at that age I needed to be that. I didn't, except when I was 29. Now, Jacob, I'll be really clear. When I was 29 a few years ago, I I remember I couldn't wait and I had a big 30th birthday party, and I couldn't wait to be 30 because 29 is such a cliche. It is such a,
Right.
I'm 29, and then everybody goes, yeah, right. Okay.
Right.
Uh, but in any case, so yeah, that's a great perspective, and it is my perspective as well. I love seeing a lot older people out doing, the the sports thing, and they can outdo a lot of, young couch surfers, I'm sure.
Oh,
Uh,
most
yeah, couch potatoes, I guess, to be more.
definitely.
Uh, there are some of those. So that's fantastic. Now, let's kind of move into the business arena a little bit and talk about your business as it relates to the community and how you see that all being working together and weaving the picture you want to see in your life.
Of course, yeah. Just I guess it's important to kind of lay out the past to then see, how the future goes. But I own JHB Cleaning Services here in Central Oregon and also Portland, Oregon. So initially, just about a year ago is when my business partner, Hunter Beck, and I started JHB Cleaning Services in Portland. We were primarily a commercial cleaning company, cleaning gyms,
Wow.
and we loved it. And it was a great introductory to owning a service business, which neither of us had done. But we soon realized we were leaving a lot on the table by only kind of following commercial contracts and not getting into the residential side. So soon after, we started doing residential as well. And then just in a snap of time, I'm here in Bend and wanted to, of course, bring my business with me. And so now we are comfortably sitting at two markets where we mainly focus on residential now here in Central Oregon, but looking to obviously expand into services that really complement cleaning and residential cleaning to be specific. And so it's been a really fun exploratory new market to one, get out into Central Oregon and try to find ways on how we can just really provide a service and serve the community. And one example of that is this past holiday season, we decided to do Christmas light installation, which is definitely not residential cleaning, but we do like to believe that, you know, JHB is able to make your home look clean on the inside and then also very festive and clean on the outside as well. Uh, and that was a really fun introductory to a more of a location-based service where I got to go out and meet, members of the community and help them with their holiday needs. And really just from that, being inspired to add services and find more ways that we can help more people here in Central Oregon and also Portland.
That's fantastic. I mean, the Christmas lights, you're bringing beauty on the outside. And and they're not all, and you're going to have multiple people doing, some will clean, some will get your cleaning and some will get your lights, but then eventually you could get them all. So who knows where this guy's going to go next? I'm telling you, it's hard to keep up. So you were a brave soul to get out and climb ladders and hang lights and tell everybody Merry Christmas or whatever the occasion provided for. That is great. Of course, if you put them up, then you got the business of taking them down. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
applaud. Yeah, just for our
Yes.
listeners, do you provide the lights in the future so they might call you?
Yes. So we provide really installation all the way to storage. So yeah, we provide commercial grade C9 lights and custom fit them to really whatever design you'd like on a home or any structure. And we will also do kind of maintenance throughout the holiday season. And then we also take them down and store them. So a full-fledged service. We
Nice.
like to think of it as more of a holiday experience than just hanging lights. We really are trying to go deeper into that emotional side of bringing more joy and jolliness to the community.
Yeah. And also you probably had a lot of husbands going, "Shh."
Yeah, it is really fun and can feel the impact when families don't have to worry about
Yeah.
a part of the holiday times that can be stressful, it can be dangerous, and really getting to focus on enjoying the beauty of it and focusing on what really matters, family and time in the present.
Yeah, what's that movie with the guy that did all the two, the crazy number of lights. I can't think of
Yeah,
it.
is it
Christmas
Christmas?
Vacation.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, hopefully you don't go that far, but if you're paid, I guess you could.
yeah, yeah. It was our first year with the service, so wanted to take it slow. Obviously, it was a learning experience for me, and at times had to turn down a little bit more complicated projects because I knew my own boundaries and wanted to really solidify the basics. But I am excited to continue to offer the service and just increasing the complexity and design factor to really have, homes stand out.
Fantastic. That is very innovative of you. And looking for other ways because, you've got, I don't know that there's any real market time that's better than another for house cleaning, but I would imagine, that can carry you through a season that would be different than a cleaning. So let's talk about JHB. You've got a partner, and tell us a little bit about, not a little bit, elaborate. What do you do with your business? I mean, there's so many different types of cleaning that you can do, I'm sure, and some you probably don't want to do. And so give us some idea for our audience to just what all is involved and kind of with what puts you even in a position of wanting to do that. I know you in the commercial stuff, but home cleaning is a whole different animal. I've had homes cleaned, so I understand. But yeah, just kind of from a personal, emotional standpoint, uh, kind of delve into that.
Of course, yeah. Once again, I want to preface it with some past experiences that led me up to this journey. Prior to starting JHB Cleaning Services, I was a project manager for a school furniture installation company for the past 5 years, and one that taught me a lot about providing a service and working at such a high level of quality. And through that, we worked through COVID and the isolation. And when we would install these schools, we would also clean the schools. And a part of that was really seeing the opportunity of cleaning is this kind of mundane service, yet there is such a wide market for it. Um, and so really got interested there and figured that was the best way to kind of dive into the entry level service business, and just knew that's where a great place we could start. And very soon along into our residential cleaning service, we came up with the tagline, ceiling to floor, everything in the door when it comes to our cleaning philosophy. So that is number one, kind of our base motto and mission and rule really when it comes to how we like to handle all of our services, specifically residential, where just having that fine level of detail and understanding a client's need at such a fundamental level of this is my home, this is where I spend. There must be some stat out there, I believe, that's like you spend 30% of your whole life in your home. So really coming into a fairly sacred place for an individual, listening to them and just trying to serve them. And we found a lot of success specifically in the Bend market with move out and move in cleans. So we partnered with a handful of realtors and realty companies, and we really just wanting to be that first impression when someone moves into their brand new home and making sure their their idea of this beautiful new journey is encapsulated in its cleanliness and ready to be moved in. And so that's been a really rewarding and powerful side of the business that we've been not focusing on, but it's just so happens that that's kind of where our bread and butter is at the moment.
Well, that's great because you don't really there's things we do in life that we don't really think about what goes on behind the scenes because I've had people clean for me more than once that I would never call back or refer because of there was no connection. So you're a connector and you're somebody who wants to make a good impression, not just for your business, but for the person. And you're concerned about the person. And you're right, the home is like some people say it's your castle, but it's supposed to be safe and healthy, and not everybody has happy, healthy homes. However, if it's clean, that removes a lot of stress and takes a burden off of whoever lives there. It's an emotional thing to hire someone that comes into your home as a stranger, usually,
Mhm.
and starts moving your stuff around. So, uh, Have you had any not so much unfortunate but comical or silly things happen? Have you got any funny stories?
Hmm.
I put it,
Honest,
I stumped you.
yeah, not yet. Nothing that like pops to mind specifically when it comes to that, but it is always such a journey when it comes to one getting to know a client, and one that's right off the bat, I think a very good perspective change that we started from the beginning is these aren't just customers, these are clients. And it is such a minute thing, but it is a big thing when it comes to wanting to provide your client with the a high quality service compared to a customer. Obviously, no shame to anyone that uses customer versus client, but in our philosophy, really wanting to the cleaning is obviously a huge part of it, but it's also the customer service and the client relations of hearing someone, listening to someone, whether they've had an awful week, a great week, and being just this interesting way of helping them through maybe, life's troubles,
Oh yeah.
um, always feels rewarding and continues to just keep, the business on our toes because every project is different, every individual is different, and I think it's all been for the benefit because we get to see so many different situations that then we can keep in our toolbox to know how to really lock in for the next time it happens.
That is fantastic because in so many businesses, you get treated like a number, like you're just one in a million and you don't, you've had probably had some bad customer service experiences. Oh my goodness, I won't even go there.
Mhm.
But the truth is we're all people. And um, I would say when somebody's going to choose a cleaner, we'll call this guy, choose wisely, it's it's very personal. It can be very invasive to let somebody into your home. And, I'm sure most people have probably had that experience with a handyman or something like that. It's just, you know, it can be very trying. So let me ask you a question. Before we swing over to a teaser for the next podcast we're going to do. Uh, Tell me what you said, realtors. Tell me what kind of connections you're looking for in the business specifically. Who might be a good contact for you?
That's a great question. And, with this being our second year of the business and really getting through that imposter syndrome, maybe that first year, it's been really eye-opening to really feel the good growing pains of a service business in a new market. So any, of course, connection is appreciated, but realtors and realty groups
Okay.
we tend to have the largest impact with because having relations with uh, a realtor really is able to allow you to have just a consistent line of serving more clients.
Hmm.
Um, Property management groups, so midterm rentals, anything from a month to a year. We also have a few partnerships with that we're able to really get in there in between the tenant turnover and get it back to a refreshed state, which once again, that's that first thing whenever a tenant walks into a home is, what level of detail has gone into making it feel ready for the individual. And so we like getting having those projects that have the largest impact.
Yeah, that's fantastic because there are a lot of people that can find you on the web. But let me ask you another question. What do you feel makes JHB stand out in the market?
Yeah, I think it's a fun one to think about. and especially within specifically residential cleaning, since it is a pretty low barrier to entry
Mhm.
as a service business, there's competition. There's so much competition and it's healthy competition, but anyone with some decent cleaning supplies can be a cleaner. And so you really have to identify what areas of a cleaning business can you improve to get that one step ahead. Cleaning in itself, you can only clean to 100% in a way. A house can only get so clean. So that's step one is to have a good cleaning process and a good cleaning team. But how do you elevate after that is really what we started asking ourselves. And that's when really wanting to connect with community, wanting to have clients over customers, and reframing just our whole perspective on what we're really doing in a way. Cleaning is just, as of now, our way of helping people, of course, but we'd like to believe that we're in the business of serving people and helping people rather than just being a residential and commercial cleaning business.
Well, I think that's really, and those are wise words for anybody looking to get into business or improve their business. Finding what makes you stand out and believing in it. One thing that I'll probably be doing a workshop on in the future. Oh, I'm not throwing any bones out there for people to grab hold to.
Mhm.
However, I'm a real believer in collaboration versus competition. And I know you embrace that philosophy. So, briefly, how would you say you do embrace that collaborative idea versus competing against every cleaner that's out there behind every door, so to speak?
Right. Yeah. And I think there is just such a healthy balance between being competitive and wanting to wake up every day and say, I want to be the best cleaning company in Central Oregon.
Mhm.
And I hope every business that wants to be successful can say that and when they wake up. But collaboration is is imperative to just exponential growth for really any faucet of life and learning from one another and learning from mistakes and just that open-mindedness to learning and forever being a student, whether that's from another cleaning business or from another different industry completely,
Yeah.
wanting to collaborate, maybe not specifically on a service, but on a mindset or
Hmm.
on a broad goal or on a vision. Those things are what really powers the cleaning side of things is finding that balance and wanting to just actively go towards it every day.
Yeah, that's great. So before we wrap it up, I promised a teaser because there's something that's going to be extremely exciting, rewarding, fulfilling, and pretty much something that I think is going to be very, very unique. So I'm going to just give you a couple minutes so you don't say too much. We got to tease the audience and get them back.
Yes, of course. Um, well, there is, yeah, I guess we can start with do curious if that's what we're going towards at the moment. So, just a little history on top of being a business owner with JHB Cleaning Services for just about a little under 3 years. I have co-founded a startup called Do Curious, and I've been there for a long time. It does feel, but it has been immensely profound in one myself, but also growing something that will help a community. And I have the mission right here, so that's where I'm looking, just to give the audience uh, a proper description of what our mission is at Do Curious.
Yes.
The mission to help people expand their horizons and live full, satisfying lives by conquering personal, goal oriented challenges. We do this by connecting them to our challenge hosts, each other, and a wide range of interesting people, places, knowledge, skills, and experience that they might not have otherwise encountered. So that's kind of the high level um, mission. But just to go a little bit deeper, we are doctor founded. Dr. Douglas Perednia is our founder, and he spent years of his research finding out really why are this new era of generation of teens so depressed? Why is screen time so impactful? What is going on with our youth, and why do they have the largest rates of depression, suicide, anxiety? The list goes on.
Yeah.
And there was all these reports on what the problem was, but no one had a solution when it comes to how do you battle these things? How do you battle screen addiction?
Okay,
And that,
I'm gonna do the rude thing and I'm gonna say you need to save something for the next podcast.
we're just getting started, but
Yeah,
thank you.
you get excited and I'm the same way. You just can't stop. But I did the host rude stop.
That's that
We
was that's yeah, that's what you got to do.
Okay, so we'll be recording another podcast in the not too distant future about Do Curious because they're making pretty significant progress in their operation and project. It's exciting. I'm privy to some of that behind the scenes stuff, so
Yeah.
that'll be fun. But right now, I just want to thank you profusely, Jacob, for coming on and being a guest on Courage, Confidence, Connections podcast.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to the listeners of Courage, Confidence, and Connections podcast for having me on, for asking some questions that, frankly, I don't get asked enough. So to be able to dive into some sectors of the brain and curiosity that I haven't in a while was really refreshing. And I hope I was able to share some thoughts and experiences that are able to maybe help some people.
Absolutely. Very enlightening. And you're always fun to talk to, always. Now, we're going to sign off, and all this will be on YouTube as well as on all forms of social media that Jacob and I can get the word out. So, this is Janice Devo signing off for Courage, Confidence, Connections podcast. See you soon, everybody.